I said to myself, I am going to be the living, breathing example that you can be a dancer no matter what size you are, no matter how you look. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sweet Madness Podcast. Here we talk about everything sweet and everything mad and everything in between. This is episode 2 of season 2, and I'm so excited you guys are here. This is so exciting. Today, I'm going to talk about something that is quite literally, maybe not literally, but is quite close to the embodiment of sweet madness as it pertains to my life. So, as many of you know, if you've heard episodes from season 1, you know that I was a dance teacher, or I was involved in dance and a dancer. And I would like to talk about that today and my relationship with it. My mom put me in my first dance class at 2 years old. And ever since then, I was hooked. My teachers were encouraging. I was good at it. I was a great dancer. I picked up concepts very, very easily. It clicked. It was the thing my brain made the most out of. It was the thing that I loved to do. I felt free. I felt so free when I danced. I felt like I was my true self when I danced. And what's interesting about dance is that it's both structure and creativity. It's both technique-based and also freeing and freestyle and flowing. It is all of it at once. And it takes a long time to learn it and to grasp these technique concepts so then you can dance as a ballerina, flowing through step to step with grace and agility and leaping everywhere, turning and making it look so easy. That is a very hard thing to do. With dance, you have a music element, right? You have to be able to recognize patterns. You have to know there's 8 counts or 6 counts depending. And, if you're a music person, 4/4 is common time. So it's 4 beats in a measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat. But in dance, if you're dancing to a song that's in 4/4 time, you're doubling that measure. So it becomes a count of 8. A quarter note still gets 1 beat, but there are 8 beats per dance measure. I put quotes around dance measure because it is, that's what we count to. In music, you count to 4, every 4. In dance, you count to every 8. And then if it's a waltz and something is in 3/4 time in music, it's usually counted in 6s. It's doubled. There's more you have to work with for combinations and steps and stuff. And you have to learn how to balance your body. You have to learn which parts of your body can do what. You push your body to do new things safely, like stretching. And so you get your penché up in the air. You get your splits. You do acrobatics safely by learning the techniques to tuck your nose to your belly button, your chin to your chest, and the back of your head goes on the floor, not the top, so you don't break your neck. Funny enough, when I was a kid, I did a step in acro class on stage for a recital, and I snapped my neck when I came up, like I kinked it. There are things that you have to learn how to do strategically and understand certain concepts in order to do the thing, in order to dance like you are free and flowing and making it look easy. You have to go through the hard work in order to make it easier for you in the long run. That's a life tidbit. So with all of these things that you have to learn, especially that the core of your balance and your body with everything in regular life comes from your core. It comes from your core and your belly muscles. It doesn't come from your leg. It comes from your core. If you center yourself, and this is also a thing in yoga that they concentrate on too, and I'm sure with lifting weights and stuff. I'm not a weightlifter. I don't go to the gym. I dance for exercise, and I'll tell you why it's my favorite form of exercise in a minute. if you come from your center, you're not overstraining other parts of your body. If I'm doing a turn and I don't lift up my core, all of my weight is then going to be pressed down onto my left foot. Say I'm doing a right turn, the left turn being the standing leg. If I am putting no effort into my core, then I'm going to push, like I said, all of my weight down into my left foot, and that is going to cause me to stumble and fall and possibly hurt my ankle. Your core, when I taught, I always said this, your core is the center. Your center is your balancing. If you feel like you're falling down, take a breath, tighten your tummy muscles for just a second, and then breathe out and then tighten them again. Your energy has to come from the center in order to radiate out every single part of your body like a sun, like sun rays. You should have sun rays shooting out of your toes when you point your toes. You should have sun rays pointing out of your fingers when you're doing an arm movement. You should have sun rays shooting out of your eyes, your head, and every single part of your body that has to move. That also creates you to balance because you're not forcing so much weight on one part of your body. I would demonstrate, but I'm not going to. So there's a lot to learn from dance, and there's a lot of concepts that are applicable to life. If you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, you're not making room to then maybe spread it out. Spread it out. Spread the tension out. Do things that make you happy as well as the thing that you know you need to do. You have to balance yourself out. It can't be a dead weight rock falling. It has to be those balancing trays, it has to be a scale weight that holds two things. Balance yourself out. So dance is my favorite form of exercise. I'm getting to that now because it's fun. Number one, it's fun. I don't feel like I'm exercising when I'm dancing. It's something that just takes my mind off of everything. You know, it gets me in touch with my body too. It gets me in touch with my body and to know, oh, I have tension there. Is that because I pulled a muscle the last time I danced, or is that because I am stressed out? Maybe the dance will take the stress out. It's also a way to find confidence in yourself. I found so much confidence through dance over the years. It's a way to feel free. You feel like you're in another world. You're so present when you dance because you have to be. There's no other choice. You have to be present with yourself when you dance, but yet being present with yourself makes you feel free. You see how this is sweet madness? It's all contradictory and all together at the same time. It's a way just to let go. Let it go to let it flow. Maybe for me, for a long time, it was a form of meditation because it made me be present with my breath, because you have to breathe at some point. Maybe be present with my breath. And then as I'm dancing, I am thinking about the thing that I'm meditating on, if it's something that's stressing me out or something like that. But I come to a conclusion because I have to let go in order to listen to myself. It's like time stops for a moment, but it keeps going. See how I'm just saying all of these contradictions? It's sweet madness, guys. The thing that I really appreciate most about dance is that it saved me in a lot of ways. I have a very give and take relationship with dance, and a very complicated one too. I was not the image of the perfect dancer. I was the fat girl in class. When I got to puberty, I gained weight. It wasn't because I was eating like crap every day. It wasn't because I was drinking soda all the time. I was eating relatively healthy as a child in America, where we have mostly processed foods. So I hit puberty and the hormones happened and I just started gaining weight. The body parts were coming out. Then I was very aware of what I looked like and I became insecure. Dance helped me through this, but it also was the thing that pointed it out. I would get judged when I walked into a room, a dance room. I would be looked at by my classmates. My teachers were concerned for me. It was a tough time through puberty to realize that I am in a world that I love. I'm in the dance world. But this is a world that would chew me up and spit me out. That was a very hard thing for me to grapple with. I didn't know how I was going to go through it. And at one point in high school, I almost quit. I almost quit. But I pushed through it because my parents were paying for all of these classes and costumes and all of that. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish out the year. And I'm glad I did, because I continued and I continued and I continued. And oh my God, don't even get me started about sizing for recital costumes. We had to do that in front of everyone in the class. We had our leotard and tights on, which, by the way, when I hit puberty, I was like, I'm not allowed to wear the studio shirt anymore over anything. I have to wear like a bathing suit, because leotards are essentially bathing suits, but with tights. I have to wear that and just like have my fat butt open everywhere for people to judge me. Wow. I was very insecure. So when it came time for recital costume sizings, we had to slip on these leotards over our already placed leotards and tights. And it had a big size right there in the middle of the chest. Big size plastered right there for all to see. I had to turn around and face the class because the teacher had to make sure that the back fit right. Like they had to look all over I've done this when I became a teacher. They had to look all over and make sure everything's right. I turned around to face the class and I saw in the mirror on the opposite side of the room, extra large adult. When I was like, probably 15, maybe even younger than that. That's a lot for me to handle. And the thing is that the thing that also got me was that these dance costumes were not made for people of different sizes. They were made for the tall, skinny girls. So the sizing chart, what US sizes were, their measurements to make the leotards were actually smaller. So in my normal clothes, I was a size smaller than I was in dance clothes, because dance clothes were not made predominantly for girls that were short and fat or girls that just weren't tall and skinny. You could be tall and have a little chub and the thing wouldn't fit right. You'd have to go up a size. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then I worked in a dance store years later. I'm like, I'm really happy that it's becoming more acceptable of different sizes. But when I was a kid and growing up, and this wasn't that long ago, I'm 30 years old. This was like in the 2000s. I mean, I was born in the 90s, but I was still a kid in the 90s. I didn't hit puberty until like 2000 something. That's not a long time ago, like at all. It's like a little, like maybe like 18 years ago. That's crazy. It's baffling to me. And through all of this, I'm dancing through it and I'm looking in the mirror and I just keep thinking, I am horrible just because of the way I look. I'm bad. I'm a bad dancer. Meanwhile, the facts were this. I was pushed up a year in elementary school. I was pushed up a year in dance classes because of my technique and my work ethic. I was good. I was the youngest in the class because of that, all the years forward. And I just so happened to be the fat girl, the resident fat girl. And because of that, I was like, they all hate me because I'm good, but they hate me more because of the way I look. And at first I took that as a sad thing. As the years gone by, one day, and I always chalk this up to the floor, I'm like, the floor got me. The floor caught me when I fell. I was at my lowest point in my worth and my self-esteem as a dancer. And all of a sudden I heard this voice and they said, "You are the youngest in the class for a reason. Yes, you're fat, but that didn't stop you from progressing. You are enough, just as you are." And the light bulb went off. I then realized, yes, I am here for a reason, and I am going to now make an example of myself. I pushed. I did the best that I could. And I was like, this is my purpose. This is my purpose. I'm here to tell all of those dreamers out there, no matter what gender they are worthy of going after their dreams. They are enough. Your looks should not matter. Your heart is what matters most. Your work ethic is what matters most. The way you treat people is what matters most. Those are 3 things that matter most in my book. I am going to be the dancer that is fat, that makes it. Whatever it may be, whatever my future is, I'm going to make it. And I did it. After high school, I got involved with community theater and I started acting first because I love theater. And then there was a moment where someone asked me if I knew any choreographers, and I said, I don't. I've only been in community theater for a year. I have no idea who this person is that you're suggesting. I have no idea who that person is. And I think I mentioned like I'd be interested in choreographing in the future. And then that's it. They made me a choreographer. And that is how I started my choreography career. I became a dance teacher the same year. In the studio that I grew up in, I said to myself, I am going to be the living, breathing example that you can be a dancer no matter what size you are, no matter how you look. And I did. For over 10 years, I was a dancer. And I instilled this in my students. You are enough. You are beautiful the way you are. And if you needed to hear that, no matter what's happening on in your life right now, if you just needed to hear those words, that's what I'm here for. You are enough. After 10 plus years of teaching and winning choreography awards, I said to myself, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm helping people. I'm helping people find it in themselves, to love themselves and to go after their dreams. And then I realized I want to help more kids out there. I want to help more. And that's why I wrote my children's book, Bella the Buck-Toothed Ballerina. It's a story about a ballerina who has buck teeth. She's in dance class. She wants to be a ballerina. But she gets made fun of because of her buck teeth. A girl in class is a bully. And she's pointing out her flaws, Bella's flaws, to say that those flaws are the reason why Bella will never be a ballerina, because she's too ugly, because she doesn't fit the mold. She doesn't fit the image of the ballerina. Maddie is the perfect image of a ballerina, but her heart is cold. And I love when Bella says to her, I may be ugly on the outside, but I am not ugly on the inside. And that was kind of me going to like the whole dance world, like, guys, get looks out of your mind's eye. What are we doing in the world? Why are we making looks the most important thing that people have to concentrate on? At the end of the book, Bella ends up loving her buck teeth. She hated them before. And that's much like my story. I hated my belly. Now I love it. And I'm using it to be an example to all of the dreamers out there that you should love your flaws too, because honestly, it's kind of like your superpower. That's what her buck teeth are. Bella's buck teeth are her superpower. It's what makes her her. It's the unique thing that makes her special. And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So I wrote that book. You can get it anywhere they sell books, or you can go to my website. It's there. I do want to thank you, listeners, for listening. And if you're new to the podcast, thank you. Hopefully, I inspired you to start loving yourself and seeing your self-worth, because you know what? You're worthy. You're worthy of those dreams you have. The sweet madness of life. Before I go, I do want to announce something that I am very, very happy about. The Sweet Madness podcast has merch. Yes, we have merch. I love it. I'm so excited. Merch is short for merchandise, if you don't know. And the first merchandise item is rolled out today, You can go to www.amandamontoni.com to check it out. And if you are full of sweet madness and you're embracing the sweet madness, I think that this item will be perfect for you. And I hope you live your days finding the sweetness and the madness, and maybe letting yourself get a little mad in the sweetness. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe. We kind of need that over here at the Sweet Madness podcast. If you hit that subscribe button, I will love you for a very long time. Have a great day, guys. Bye.